If you are having a hard time finding the mistake with what I have written on the screen, then I encourage you to watch this video until the end. And to explain to you why this is a mistake, I would like to present you with a different example. So let's say we had something similar to what we had on the screen before. Say we had something like 5 plus 4 squared. How would we go about simplifying this normally? Well, we could use the order of operations, PEMDAS. So PEMDAS. So we would start with what was in the parentheses first. If you actually don't know about the order of operations, I have another video on that. I will link it in the description. But the order of operations says that we should start with what's in the parentheses first, which would be the 5 plus 4. So that simplifies to 9. And since that was all that was in the parentheses just go away. And finally, we are left with 9 squared. And then we would look at the exponent, which would be the 2 right here, 9 being raised to the second power. So that would simplify to 81. Now suppose we tried solving this with the method we used before, where we just raise x to the second power and 3 to the second power, right? Say if we tried applying that same logic here. If we took... change color for a second, hold on. If we took 5 squared and 4 squared and we just added them together. So 5 squared would simplify to 25 and 4 squared would simplify to 16. We add these together. 25 plus 16 equals 41. And we could see that we've gotten 2 very different answers here. So this should be a good clue that this is not the correct way to go about solving the previous problem. How could we solve the problem that we had on screen before, though? Well, we could use similar logic to what we used before. So when we had this, when we had 5 plus 4 squared, what we really wanted was the number that 5 plus 4 was going to equal squared. We didn't want to square 5, and we didn't want to square 4 and then add them together. However, we're not really able to simplify x plus 3 because it's a binomial. We can't add x and 3 together like this. Well, there is something else we could do, and we could use the FOIL method. Why? Because x to the third, or x plus 3 squared, is really equal to this. X plus 3 multiplied by x plus 3. So this is how we can get rid of the square here, to the fact that we're raising it to the second power. We can write it like this. And we can solve this by using the FOIL method, which stands for first, outer, inner, and last. So we would start with what appears first in these parentheses, and in that case, that would be x times x, which is going to equal x squared. So we wind up getting x squared, and that part's done. Then we would do what was in the outer section, which would be x and 3. So we multiply x and 3 because this is considered the outer, and actually no, my mistake. This is considered the outer, and this is considered the outer. So we do x times 3. That would give us 3x, and because it's positive, we would add it here. plus 3x. Then we would focus on the inner, what we call the inner numbers, which would be 3 and x. So it's very similar to what we've done before. We just multiply 3 times x to get 3x. So we'll add that here. And finally, we do what is called the last numbers, which would just be 3 and 3, because these come last in each of the binomials. So that would equal 3 times 3, or my mistake, it's going to simplify to 9, but I was running a little too fast. 3 times 3 equals 9. And because that's positive, we add that. Then the 3x here and the 3x here. These simplify because, or these add together because these are like terms. So we wind up with x squared plus 6x plus 9 as our final answer, which is different to what we wrote before because what we wrote before did not account for the 6x. So when you see these, when you see binomials being squared, especially when they're in parentheses like this, if you see a binomial in parentheses and it's being squared, be sure to expand it like this so that you can really see what's going on and that you can do the math properly. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you are looking for more tutorials on things related to college algebra, I'd encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you are looking for online tutoring, I actually offer online tutoring to struggling college students so that they can fix their foundations in mathematics. If that's something you're interested in, then check out the description of this video. You may find something useful. Thank you very much for watching.